Let's welcome the gorgeous and talented Zana. The Bishop Lavis-born artist continues to take South Africa by storm. She's spending her 2022 recouping and focusing on coming up with fresh and new concepts. She's joining us this afternoon to catch up and talk more about where she's at in terms of her musical journey, along with her personal journey on self-love and inner peace. Yep. Welcome back, Zoe. Welcome back, Usa. I mean, after a performance that powerful, that impactful, that passionate, I don't know how you can stay calm.
Thank you, first of all, for the compliment, and I've got to do it. I'm sitting with you one-on-one now. I don't think I can be turning up on the couch here, so
I get that. Yeah. It's all about different levels, moods, tempos, and temperatures, and that's what it's all about. I mean, we haven't seen you in a very, very long time, girl. The past 2 years, you've been extremely busy. Congratulations on everything. We've seen you taking over stages. You've been performing. We even saw you at Pride Festival. Tell us what you've been up to.
Everything you've mentioned. I've been, doing quite a few festivals. Pride was one of the highlights for me. It always is. I've performed there for the past 5-6 years consecutively. So that's, something that I'm used to doing every year, and that was great. A lot of studio time as well. A lot of getting back to the basics, coming up with new ideas and where we want to go with this for the future. So it's a lot of recouping, a lot of studio time, a lot of performances. It's been exciting.
Now listen, we see it. We saw it here first, and it just speaks to the trust that the industry has for you. Being called time and time again to perform at a festival year in, year out, it speaks that, you're consistent, one thing about you. So consistent that 2021 saw you take over the recording studio by storm, child.
Try.
You released so much music last year. Girl, I'm like, how many, do we still have the same 24 hours in a day? Because I'm just not understanding. Listen, but then you said 2022, it's a new year, new you. You're taking a bit of a step back. Tell me about what you want to achieve during this quiet time.
Man, for 2021, we were in COVID, the COVID pandemic at the time, and I had a lot of time for studio. Okay. Right now, I feel like I really overworked myself in that year in terms of creativity and really pushed myself past my own limits. It was great for me because I learned a lot about myself that I didn't, know that I was capable of doing. For this year, for me, it's a lot more about, my mental health, my inner peace, my, physical health, because, the strain of that kind of pace is not necessarily good for you as a person, and it can really, throw everything all over the place if you don't have structure, if you don't know exactly why you're doing things and when you want to do it, and, that planning is extremely important. So it's that time for me now. It's time for me to reflect and look inside and, focus on my needs, my internal needs, my mental needs, my spiritual needs. Very big one, very big point as well. So that's what this year is about for me, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the journey.
I'm so happy that you said that, because I always say that, listen, a physical and mental breakdown doesn't whisper and say, listen, I'm about to give you a meltdown.
Exactly.
It happens. One day, one morning, you just struggle and you're incapable of getting up. And that's what you're all about, that self-love, that inner peace. Why is it so important? I want to ask you, as an artist, why is it so important to be self-aware, but in actuality, just being
as a person.
Being, as a person. I think it's very important.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, first of all, as a female, we're really emotional as females. And, if you don't spend the time, with yourself healing and figuring out why you have toxic traits in certain areas in your life, I think that's one thing that we don't spend a lot of time on and a lot of focus on as females. We don't like to be called out for our toxicity. And it's a time for me in my personal life where I'm able to highlight what makes me toxic in certain ways and how I can heal that. So that's why it's important for me. Any relationship, whether it's with a partner, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your friends, whether it's in the music industry, if you don't deal with yourself internally, you will go around damaging a lot of relationships that is not necessary. And I think I've learned my lesson in the past, where for me, the main focus was just, getting over this thing that I'm feeling so I can go back to showtime, where now it's a matter of I need to dig deep and deal with my trauma so that I can be the best I could be.
What advice would you give young up-and-coming artists?
Up-and-coming artists, I would say push, consistency. Thanks for the reminder. Consistency, extremely important, but to not just want to put out product, to also search inside and deal with yourself so that the product that you do put out there is something that people can genuinely connect to and people feel that human touch that you have to your artistry.
Stunning.
So it's extremely important to reflect, and deal with yourself.
Look inside. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, not only for a fire performance, but we have you throughout the show. Now, if you want to book Zoe for an event, please do reach out to her on her socials. Trust me, she is a gem. And if you thought that first performance was insane, wait until you see her final performance. She still has that coming in an hour. And then if you want to see her get down and dirty in the kitchen, listen, we had to really convince her and she decided to join us in the kitchen. So stay tuned for that.